This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
Yeah, it's a little too loud. Hi, everybody. It is My Hair's All Weird. I'm telling you, going from one show to another today has been interesting. Welcome to the After Party Live status post, the 2-year anniversary of the Mark Thompson Show. I saw the contributions to that show pour in today, and I have to tell you that I'm just overwhelmed with thankfulness for this community that we've created and the new friendships that have formed and just the feeling, the good feelings that I get about it all. So thank you for being part of the Mark Thompson Show and then this show as well. Those of you who make it over to the After Party Live, always so thankful to have you here. I saw Wes throw in a $5 super sticker to the PayPal account. So the PayPal account is listed in the bottom of the show description every day and also in the About tab under the After Party Live here on YouTube. Thank you, Wes, for the $5 chat. I appreciate that very, very much. So a late start today because we had a long Mark Thompson show, which is never a bad thing. So let's jump right into some of the stories. I didn't get much of a break today, but that's okay. We don't need that. We'll just keep on going, right? Yeah, the donations were over the top today. And I have to say, I think, as I told Mark, I think that means that you guys want a third year, right? That means to me that what we're doing here on YouTube, on the Mark Thompson Show, and even on this show is something that someone finds valuable and entertaining and somehow makes their day better or they wouldn't log in, right? So I'm grateful for that. And I am thankful for the contributions as well. Karen Cooper says, yeah, 3 years and beyond. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. I think the shows keep getting better and better and better as we figure out what we're doing with YouTube. And remember, as Mark has said before, we went from radio where we just had to come up with content and be interesting. And now we're kind of becoming these technical people that it's a whole different world for us. And video is a whole different world as well. I mean, I'm a radio girl, so this is all so new and kind of uncomfortable in a lot of ways. But here we are doing the thing. Absolutely. John says, we've been renewed for a third season. Excellent. We'll take it. Thank you to our network executives. Absolutely. Except for the Trump trolls. I try to get them when I see them, but you know how it is. Eileen says, so grateful for the community. I saw your contribution come in. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, it's the community that we had it on KGO, but we kind of felt it, right? But it wasn't so connected like it is now, where everyone's able to interact. And so I saw all the texts come in and the phone calls, and I knew your voices, and I knew, who the people were on KGO. But this is a whole different animal where we are able to interact with each other, which is a pretty cool thing. Mindy says, we love you and Mark. Glad you landed on your feet. Absolutely. PayPal, we need you. We really do. It's true. Josh says it absolutely makes my day better when I can be here. Thank you. Makes my day better when you can be here as well, Josh. Absolutely. Karen says the world would be so much emptier for us without you and Mark. See, this is why. This is so good. And I have to say, for me, working from home, pretty awesome. Teacher Lori says opposing viewpoints make it interesting. Yeah, that the talking in reference to the trolls on KGO. It's true. I mean, you never know. Huge thank you to Lady Beatrice coming in with a $10 super chat. The anniversary shows are very important. Shows like this, Nikki, Mark, Carell, proof free speech still has a place among corporate cancel culture. Yeah. Josh says, I feel like it's hanging out with friends. I think it is too, because over time you really get to know people and have relationships with them so that when they're not here, you feel the absence. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think Heather's on vacation or she's somewhere. And I know that she's not here. Any one of you that didn't pop in, I would feel it. Elise says, I don't know what I'd do without you guys in these shows. Elise, we don't know what we would do without you either. Yeah, thank you for being here and for your great baking. I still haven't had some of your treats, but someday I'm holding out hope that I will. Gordon loves Travel Tuesday. I'm so glad. This is Hide in Your Cave Monday, and I have a kind of an interesting cave. It's funny how many times I've been to Hawaii in my life. I've never heard of this cave before. So I'm going to show you a really cool Hawaiian cave today. Cameo says KGO had cars for kids. Congratulations to a much better format. Yeah, thank you very much for that nice comment. Wes says it's plain fun, takes things to a different level. I think so. Gordon says the waterfalls are awesome. I'm glad you like Waterfall Wednesday. That's good. Rhonda says you and Mark helped me through bad days with chronic illness. I'm sorry you're having illness and suffering from that, but I'm glad that we can maybe lighten it up just a little bit. That makes me really happy. Mindy also is a fan of the Travel Tuesday. All right, we'll keep doing it. The Lady Beatrice throws down another $5, says, anyone find it interesting that the one Cumulus kept was the conservative station, showing a political bias. So here's the thing with a conservative station. It was almost all syndicated. By the time KGO closed, there were no local shows left on KGO. And so Cumulus really has to fork out money to pay local talent, right? But if the shows are all syndicated, that's a lot less, I think it's a lot less money they're outputting. So it's a different way of doing business. So you might think they kept it, but they kept it because it was cheap to keep. And the reason they flipped KGO because they were paying local talent, putting out money, right? And now the betting people pay them to be on the station. So I think it's, they're not putting out any money on that. And they don't really care what the ratings are because they're getting paid to have that on their airwaves. Oh, yeah. Mindy says Mark and Kim bring smiles and giggles. Priceless. Absolutely. Yeah. Cumulus needs to know greed is a deadly sin. Well, 2 years later, it's over. KGO is gone. And there is no real progressive voice in the Bay Area. And so I hope people find us here. If you know people that miss the station or are looking for such a voice, please tell them about us, because the only way we grow and get to that 50,000 subscriber mark or here on the 2,500 subscriber mark is if you let people know that what we're doing. Cranky says, thank you. Congrats on the 2 years. I'm a recent joinee, but it's now an important part of my evenings. Yeah, the Mark Thompson show is the 2 years. I think we haven't been 2 years here quite yet, but I'm glad that you found us from the UK, and I'm grateful to have you aboard. Karen says, surely you've been to Thurston Lava Tube in the area of Kilauea Volcano on the big island of Hawaii. I have been there. Absolutely, I have. Yeah. All right, speaking of which, since we're running kind of late, I want to get to this cave that we have. Let's get into some of the stories, though, first of all. One of the animal stories I wanted to play, it's just this is cute video. And don't we need right now, as we come to this moment where, at least to me, and I know Pat said she was nervous about it too, we have this election kind of looming, and I'm trying to keep a positive thought, and I'm trying to be, upbeat about the whole thing, but there's some niggling nerves in the back of my mind going, what if, right? So that's why we need things like this. These two penguin chicks were born at a zoo. And not to, mean that we don't think about the important things, because we know they're there. We just spent 2 hours covering them, right? But sometimes I think our minds need a little break. It's about sanity and about being a little uplifted. And this is the cutest. Check out these little guys. These are two little penguin chicks born in the UK at the Hertfordshire Zoo. They're African penguins. And here's the zookeeper who's sharing some of the video footage with us. They're endangered African penguins. They're two little baby African penguin chicks that hatched. This is being called a really important step for the conservation of this species. The chicks hatched in August. They're showing signs of independence now. They've got a little swagger. They popped out of the nest a little earlier than normal for their species. The zoo says this is a testament to their healthy and thriving nature. The chicks are called Noel and Liam in honor of the Gallagher brothers from the band Oasis, and they say these little birds have really captured the hearts of everyone who sees them. Really, they remain inseparable. They love to hang out together. They're very bonded. They're energetic. They call them the little terrors. Again, these African penguins are an endangered species. An estimated 40,000 of them live in the wild. That's it. So to see the chicks hatched at the zoo, well, I think a lot of us hate to see animals kept in captivity. So important for the thriving of this, for the survival of this species, that there are still some being born and being cared for in this world. So well done. How cute are those little penguins? The little terrors. Yeah. Oh my gosh, so cute. Anyway, see, we're uplifted already. Something else positive. This is a story about a disease that humanity has cured. Cured it. That's it. No more of it. There's this brain disease. It's pretty rare, mostly affecting boys. It's been treated with a breakthrough gene therapy. Most of the boys that were treated with this gene therapy that had this rare but deadly brain illness, 6 years later now, and they're all doing well. There were 77 boys treated for cerebral adrenoleukodystrophy. It's CALD is what they call it. CALD, C-A-L-D, adrenoleukodystrophy. It was formerly incurable. It's a progressive genetic brain disease that led to a loss of neurological function and early death. Cured it. That's what it looks like right now. The people that were treated with this gene therapy that had this brain disease are showing no decline in brain function. They are remaining free of disability. The studies were published last Wednesday in the New England Journal of Medicine. There was one unfortunate incident about these two studies, though. 6 of the 35 patients who received one form of the gene therapy did develop blood cancer that was tied to the gene therapy. But the overall news is really positive for children who otherwise would have faced a death sentence with cerebral adrenoleukodystrophy. It's this disease that strikes children in the prime of their childhood and development. So to have this treatment, it's called LSL treatment. It's a form of gene therapy that places a healthy form of the gene into a viral vector called the lenti-D lentivirus. Anyway, not to get too scientific about it, but the gene therapy, the cells are added to the blood stem cells derived from the patient and then reinfused back into that patient just to correct that genetic error. Pretty cool. In one study tracking the 6-year follow-up of 32 boys who underwent LSL gene therapy between the ages of 3 and 13, 94% show no sign of neurological decline, 80% are free in disability. So, cured it, right? It sure seems that way. Do you know someone in your life who is kind of a know-it-all? Someone who thinks they're always right about everything? They always think they have enough information to make up their minds. I suppose that the saying is this, the smartest people are those who realize that they don't know it all, that they can never have enough information. Yeah. Well, this is a concept called the illusion of information adequacy. Apparently helps explain how some people can have such strong cemented opinions even though they get their news from very limited and biased sources in some cases. Researchers at Ohio State University say they found that in general, people don't stop to think whether there might be more information that would help them make a more informed decision. that if you give people a few pieces of information that seem to line up, most will say, that sounds about right, and go with that. The study looked at 1,300 Americans. This was an online experiment. All the people read an article about a fictional school that lacked adequate water. One group got an article containing only reasons why the school should merge with another that did have adequate water. A second group's article only gave reasons for staying separate and hoping for other solutions. A third group, the control group, had an article that provided all the arguments for either merging or staying separate. The two groups that read only half the story still believed they had enough information to make up a solid decision, and said they would follow the recommendations the article provided. Those with only half the information were actually more confident in their decision to merge or remain separate than those who had the complete story. The researchers say they were quite sure their decision was the right one, even though they didn't have all the information. And folks with half the information thought most other people would come to the same decision as them as well. The researchers found one ray of hope in this. The people who had read only one side of the story were later provided arguments for the other side, and many of them were actually willing to change their minds once they had all the facts. This study, by the way, published last Wednesday in the journal PLOS ONE. They say it might not work all the time, especially if the issue is ideological in nature. That in those cases, some people might reject new information as untrustworthy or try to reframe it to fit in their existing views. But most interpersonal conflicts aren't about ideology. They're just misunderstandings in the course of daily life. So, they found in the study there's a default mode in which people think they know all the relevant facts, even if they don't. Your first move when you disagree with someone should be, is there something that I'm missing that would help me see their perspective and understand their position better? That's the way, according to researchers, that the way to fight this illusion of information adequacy. So I thought that was an interesting story when you look at why people just think a certain way and how they don't have all the information they need. Should we get to some of the Lotto of the Day stories? Let's do it. This one comes from, this is the Michigan lottery. This South Carolina man skipped a trip to a casino in Michigan, but won anyway. This South Carolina man was working in Michigan, and he decided, I don't feel like going to the casino, but I do feel like buying the scratch-off lottery ticket. His name is Michael. He's 58. He told lottery officials in Michigan he bought his winning ticket from the Gladstone Mobile gas station 10 miles northeast of Escanaba on Michigan's Upper Peninsula. He said, I live in South Carolina, but I work in Escanaba. I was trying to decide between going to the casino or buying instant tickets, ended up deciding to buy the instant tickets, and when I scratched off the $2 million mega multiplier game and saw that I actually won the $2 million, I didn't think I was real. I called my girlfriend to tell her that I won. She didn't believe me either. He said it still hasn't fully sunk in. He is going to use his new $2 million to pay bills, share some with his family, and give a nice cushion to his savings account. Excellent. Here's another one. Look at those folks. They look a little pleased. Yeah, they're not jumping up and down, but they should be. This is a Nebraska lottery win. $200,000 this man won the day before his birthday. This man said another customer at the store inspired him to buy a lottery ticket that earned him a $200,000 prize the day before his birthday. This man was at the B&D pit stop in Springfield, Nebraska, when he saw another customer buying lottery tickets and decided, okay, I'll get a scratch off for myself as well. So he picked out a $20 titanium 20s ticket. And he said, at first I thought I won $20, but I kept scratching and maybe I had a $200 win. And then I saw the comma. He said he ended up scoring $200,000 The day before his birthday, he also said it was the 30th anniversary of the day he bought his house. He said it's a very welcome birthday present, and he's going to put his winnings toward home improvement projects and some traveling. Always nice to see a winner. Speaking of a winner, you could be a winner. It turns out that NASA is seeking logistics designs for their Artemis moon mission. Private industry in the United States now has the opportunity to provide NASA with designs for a lander and a vehicle that will supply future Artemis missions to the moon. In September, NASA announced its request for proposals for lunar vehicle designs to overcome deficiencies in the lunar mobility and provide logistics that are needed to support the planned missions to the moon's surface. They say NASA relies on these collaborations from diverse partners to develop its exploration architecture. They are saying they need effective logistics support for the Artemis moon missions. So they are hoping to get some input and some new designs and some new information that will help them do all of this. So it's kind of cool to see them put out the bat beam for some help. How about this story? This Monet. It's a beautiful ocean scene. It's a painting that was stolen in Austria by the Nazis. Happened during World War II. This painting vanished for decades, 80 years. Finally, it showed up with a Louisiana art dealer. And last week, it was returned to the descendants of its original owners. The painting is called Bord de Mer, and it was one of Monet's early works. It was valued at $500,000 by the gallery that had it up for auction. The FBI began investigating the painting when it was listed for sale. The original owners were a Jewish couple from Austria, Aldebert and Hilga Parlagi. They had purchased this Monet in 1936 to hang in their home. 2 years later, the Parlagis were forced to flee the Nazis, and they left all of their belongings, including this Monet, in the warehouse of a Vienna shipping company intended to either ship it to themselves or to go back and to retrieve it later. But before they could get it back, in comes the Gestapo in Germany, seizing everything that they had hidden in that warehouse. The Monet was then purchased at auction by a Nazi art dealer, and it disappeared in 1941. In 2016, more than 70 years later, it resurfaced at an Impressionism exhibition in France. And that is where this New Orleans-based antiquities dealer purchased it and then sold it to a couple in Washington state. That couple listed it for sale in Houston, but then agreed to surrender it to the FBI last year after learning about the painting's history. Since then, the FBI has been working to return this Monet to the Parlagi's granddaughters. One of them lives in France, the other in Spain. They gathered last week and the handoff was made. They say their grandfather would have been so happy to find out this Monet was being restituted after all of his attempts over the years. This is a very moving and exceptional day for us, they said, a day neither of them ever thought would happen. Now, the Parlagi family is still searching for several other art pieces stolen by the Nazis. They had a watercolor that they're looking for that was sold to the same Nazi art dealer as the Monet. So hopefully they get everything back all these years later. Yeah. It's a beautiful painting. It's so peaceful. So to think of the ugliness that happened with the stealing and the theft of this painting. There are a lot of people, a lot of grown-ups in this world that believe they have ADHD. About 1 in 4 U.S. adults suspect they have undiagnosed ADHD. One of the people involved says she wanted to be there for her daughter following the girl's diagnosis. Then she noticed that a lot of what she was learning about ADHD sounded kind of familiar to herself. She said, as I took a look through that process and learned more about it, it was like a light bulb moment. And this woman is one of many who suspect they might have undiagnosed ADHD. About 25% of adults in the United States think they have ADHD that hasn't been detected by a doctor. 13% have shared their suspicions with a doctor. Doctors are concerned these folks are diagnosing themselves and seeking out ineffective or quack treatments for ADHD. Anxiety, depression, ADHD, all of these things can look a lot of alike, but the wrong treatment can make things worse instead of helping that person feel better and improve their functioning, according to the Ohio State Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Health. The feelings people can have struggling with self-worth, feeling like they can't be good at anything because it took so much energy to get it accomplished. There's a lot more awareness now of ADHD and how it can affect people. And a lot of kids are being diagnosed, and that's what's triggering adults to go, oh, I must have had that my whole life and never even realized it. They did a survey of 1,000 American adults, found that younger adults are more likely to believe they have undiagnosed ADHD than the older generations, and that they're actually more likely to do something about it as well. They say if you feel like that's something that's going on with you, you should take your concern to your primary care doctor, who then can refer you to someone else for evaluation. If you're watching videos on social media and it makes you think you might meet the criteria for the disorder, because there are a lot of them out there, people that want your money to treat you, right? They say they'll encourage you to seek evaluation from a psychologist, psychiatrist, a physician to actually get it checked out in a real way. So typically, if you struggle with ADHD, you have problems paying attention, sometimes are hyperactive in ways, maybe make some impulsive choices. The problems are often severe enough to cause ongoing challenges at school, at work, at home, and the symptoms can look different for different people. Some people might have more difficulty focusing on lectures or with organization. Others might have more social difficulties with impulsivity and trouble following along in conversations. So it just kind of depends. But I thought it was interesting that so many people feel like this is something that they're affected by. Let me talk about this new little baby. This baby was born in quite a way. The woman you see here, her name is Kyle, or the couple is Aaron and Kyle Baker. I'm not sure which one is Aaron and which one is Kyle. I think Kyle is the woman. They were on their way to the hospital when they realized they weren't going to make it. They called for an ambulance and they pulled over into the parking lot at this brewery. It's called the One Well Brewery in Michigan. And they said it's their favorite microbrewery. They were joking that Forrest, their new son, just wanted to swing by for a quick beer on the way to the hospital, just like his dad would. That's according to the mom, Kyle. She said, when people first heard, everybody thought we were just sitting there having a beer when I went into labor. That is not what happened at all. So they pull into the parking lot, and the dad runs around to the other side of the car to the, where the woman is sitting there in the passenger seat. And he realizes the baby's crowning. That baby was born right in the parking lot in front of the One Well Brewery. Ambulance was too late. Nope. They said at the brewery, they're celebrating his arrival. His name is Forrest, and his middle name is Wells, after One Well. So they kind of named him after the brewery in a way. The brewery folks are so celebrating this baby's birth. They've now come up with a blood orange blonde ale. His parents were invited to come help mix at the brewery. The beer, named Special Delivery, is due to be tapped later this month. The owner of one well says, well, it may be 21 years before baby Forrest Wells can enjoy a pint. His arrival might earn him free beer for life. The one well promised, have a baby in the parking lot, the baby gets free beer for life. I don't know if they want to make that promise because I think that there would be a lot of people taking them up on it. So yeah, this baby born in the brewery parking lot. That's interesting. There is a big mosaic. Hopefully this will get you in the spirit, in the fall Halloween spirit. This farm in the UK, hi Cranky, has created a massive Beetlejuice pumpkin mosaic. It is huge, and it now holds the Guinness World Record for the largest pumpkin mosaic. It was unveiled this year as gourd art, a tribute to the new film Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. The farm fans voted on the theme for this year's mosaic. 70% of votes went to the character played by Michael Keaton. The farm posted a video showing a time lapse of how it was created. There are more than 10,000 pumpkins and squashes in this mosaic. Took about 50 hours of planning on paper, and then they built it in one day with 15 people, starting at 9:30 in the morning, finishing at 4:30 in the afternoon. All of the pumpkins in this mosaic are naturally colored. A lot of them are edible, and they're the same pumpkins they've got around the fields that visitors can pick up in their wheelbarrow and buy and take home. So it's not clear yet whether this year's mosaic will take the Guinness World Record from the 2023 mosaic, which was of Jack Skellington from The Nightmare Before Christmas. That one covered an area of 2,081 square feet. I don't know what the area of this one is, but it's big. It's big. Yeah. Kind of cool that they do that. A lot of work though. But yeah, something to get you in the Halloween spirit. All right, are you ready for it? How about we do it? It's Hide in Your Cave Monday. You know, some days you just don't want to come out, and that's okay. We got you. It's Hide in Your Cave Monday. And today we go to a place I never heard of before. This is on the island of Oahu, and it's called Mermaid Cave. Now, Mermaid Cave is a little bit dangerous because the water comes in. It can get rough in here. You can get knocked around the rocks. It has to be the perfect timing for Mermaid Cave. You can't just go whenever you want to go. Tide has to be low, has to be the right conditions. But this is kind of a beautiful cave. I have more pictures for you guys. Here's another one. I mean, wow. How beautiful is that, standing out looking at the ocean like that? Here's another picture. So beautiful. This mermaid cave on Oahu has this natural phenomenon of the sun's reflection on the walls. You can see it in this photo. The sun's rays pierce the darkness of the cave, bounce off the water, and then dance on the cave walls. They say it's a light show like no other. It transforms the mermaid cave into kind of this mystical underwater kingdom. This is a magic moment when the light hits the cave walls. The interplay of light and shadow, the contrast between the golden sun and the aqua of the water, makes this illusion that looks like the fluttering tail of a mermaid. The sunlight dances on the walls. Shimmering patterns look uncannily like the scales of a mermaid's tail flicking and fluttering. I mean, they say the sight leaves you breathless and makes your heart beat fast. Beautiful. Here's another picture of it too. This is the mermaid cave. And here's what they say. This is an incredible sea cave, but you have to use extreme caution. You have to watch the surf report for calm waters only. Go at only low tide. Make sure that you've got shoes that will stay on your feet. Even if the water looks slightly rough, don't go in this cave. You'll get knocked around. The water can suck you out. They say do not underestimate the currents in this area. The caves are a quick walk. They are located on private property, but there are signs that are posted. There's an entry that may have large rocks stacked where you can land your feet. Another larger entry you can drop a ladder into. You have to bring your own rope ladder to get down. Sometimes people will hire someone familiar with the cave to take them down. So it's a lot of trouble to get here, which is why we, instead of going out to Clonianioli and walking down to the sea caves, we just like to look at the pictures of this. So here's the mermaid cave. Look at that cool heart formation in the rocks. A lot of times half of it's covered up, so it just looks like double arches. And then the shadows. Yeah. Different portion of the cave. Here's when the water starts coming in. It's called the Mermaid Lagoon. It's beautiful. I had never been there. I have to say I don't think I would feel comfortable going in. I think Trevor was talking last week about feeling claustrophobic in a cave. If I knew that conditions could change and I might get stuck in here, or, that it was going to be unsafe, no. But I'm glad somebody went and got us these photos because they're really cool. And that is on the island of Oahu. So make sure that you're careful if you end up ever going there. And that is Hide in Your Cave Monday. If you have any suggestions, you'd like a certain cave covered, you'd like us to go somewhere specific for Travel Tuesday, perhaps you're thinking to yourself, I've got a really good trivia category idea that I'd like to have done on Trivia Thursday, or a great waterfall for Waterfall Wednesday, please contact me. I would love to hear from you. You can reach me at these two email addresses: kim@theafterparty.live, probably the easiest one to remember, or kimmcallister@gmail.com. The problem is people always spell McAllister wrong. So kim@theafterparty.live is the best way to reach me. That is Hide in Your Cave Monday. I hope you enjoyed the mermaid caves on Oahu. Go into the chat to see what you guys have to say. Mermaid death trap, says Josh. Kate, that's kind of what I was thinking too. But the pictures are really cool, right? Yeah, it does. It is a heart. It's beautiful. Just beautiful. Cameo says that's worth a trip. Well, I don't know. If you have to bring your own ladder and scale down, I mean, you better be like really athletic, kind of, to climb up and down a rope to get into that cave. You better be really good at trying to figure out like what the tides and the conditions are going to be. This takes some work. I think I'd rather just see the pictures. The pictures are really cool, though, I have to say. Who stole my man cave? The mermaids. Apparently the mermaids did. Yeah, it is beautiful. Josh says I can listen to shows like this while studying and prepping music. I don't know if that's ADHD or what. I sleep with history podcasts on in the background. That's cool. I don't know. They say 1 out of 4 adults think they have ADHD. That's an awful lot of people. Which means that maybe there's not, I mean, if so many people think differently like this, then maybe it's not something abnormal. Maybe it's just another way that people learn. I don't know. And John says, of the baby born at one well, Dad can have a beer while his wife is giving birth. Yes, but I don't think there was time for that. I am so glad to see Heather here today. I thought you were on vacation. Getting my diagnosis in my late 30s legit changed my life. I only wonder what getting things would have been like, or what things would have been like for me if I had been diagnosed as a kid. True. I don't think you suffered academically. And that seems to be the problem. Like, if you're not having trouble in school, then you're all right. Then no one worries about it at all, right? It's when you're struggling in school, then people look at you and go, oh, well, maybe there's a problem here. But like my son, fine in school, no problem academically, maybe socially awkward. And that's kind of how we knew there was something afoot there, something awry. But yeah, it's made a big difference. I have him in this class called ADHD Warriors, which is this online class, and they teach you tips and tricks for how to handle yourself. And it's been life-changing. So for him, it's been really, really good. John says, I think people need to stay off their phones. They've spent so much time on their phones watching soundbite videos, they've given themselves ADD. I don't know if that's possible. I do think there are some conditions, again, as the story mentioned, that may mirror ADHD. It's funny, my daughter asked me the other day, can you develop ADHD or autism later in life? I don't think you can. I think if you have it, it's been something that's there the whole time and maybe manifests itself in different ways at different times in your life. I don't know. Interesting questions. David says you can't see the baby. Did I not give you a picture of the baby? The One Wells baby? Yeah, maybe they didn't want their baby to be shown. Sure is a cutie. I'll have to tell you that. He's adorable. As a matter of fact, and they sometimes, if there's a picture on Instagram, they won't let you post it, but I will show you this picture. I'll try to put this up, and I know we're getting late here, but I'll show you the picture that the parents posted on Instagram. And there's the little baby in Kalamazoo, Michigan, with his new little One Well Brewing banner behind him. There he is. So cute. Yeah. There's the baby. Adorable. Born in a parking lot. They say it's rare, but it happens all the time, so I don't know. Some people to thank. Lady Beatrice, thank you for the $10 super sticker. And then the $5 super sticker. Scott Rittenberg comes through with the $10 super sticker. You can pet a cow and you can pet a horse, but you can't pet a Luma. Thanks, Kim. You're the heart of all this. Oh, thank you. That makes me feel really good. And thank you for the Petaluma joke and the $10 super sticker. Wes threw down $5 to PayPal while we were talking. And also another contribution came in on PayPal as well. And that, I'll get to it, is a $25 contribution from Dallas came in today. Dallas is the person's name, not the location. So thank you for that contribution as well. You guys are so kind to help me keep this show going. And I just can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Tomorrow is Travel Tuesday. If there is a place that you think we should be going, please let me know. And I would love to include it in the show. All right. For now, everybody, have a great rest of your Monday. Don't hide in your mermaid cave. Get out there and make it a really, really good day. Bye-bye.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
Harry, thank you. Congrats and happy anniversary, says Harry. Thank you, Harry.